Welcome to the intersection of storytelling and skyscrapers. I'm Sarah Jane, a DC-based authortuber, headed to New York City for a couple of days. Between the constant hum of the subway and crowded street corners, we're going to take a little tour of New York City's inspiring writing spots. I'm officially in New York City. Welcome or welcome back. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Sarah Jane and I'm actually a DC-based authortuber and I make content about reading and writing. So if that interests you, be sure to give this video a thumbs up because it really helps for my channel, and subscribe so that we can write together. If you guys have been on the channel for a while, I used to live in New York City back in 2019. I lived on the Upper East Side and I loved it. And then I eventually left during COVID, and it's always such a treat to be able to come back. So I'm so excited to be here and be in my old stomping grounds. Let's do a little room tour. We have the bathroom. Nice tub. Lots of sink space. Shower. We come out here. Got some closet space. Nice little area that I can get ready at in the morning. And then we have the bed. And then we have a little bit of a view. Definitely not the best view, but I'll take it. So I just arrived and it's an absolutely beautiful day. So I am going to just grab something to nibble on. And then I want to head over to the New York Public Library. I want to use this time while I'm here to explore really amazing writing places because I wasn't in my writing era when I lived here. I did not enter that era yet. So I want to find really fun writing spots and share them with you guys and do a little New York City tour of writing. First up is going to be the New York Public Library. I did not visit the New York Public Library back when I lived here. It is one of my regrets. It's one of those things where like I thought I was going to live here longer and then COVID just kind of came in and ruined those plans. It's been on my list. It's a perfect place to write, so that's where we're going to head out to first. Library, and I thought I'd just kind of share my thoughts, like a pros and cons of that particular place as it pertains to writing. So I finished one chapter, and before I kind of really get into the pros and cons, I just want to note that I think I'm not a public space writing gal. Like if you guys have been on this channel, you will see that normally like 90% of the time I write from home. I have a very comfortable setup at home and I really like the way everything is set up. But I think there is something great about going to different areas and writing, because I think being in a new environment can really like spur in creativity. I just think I was very overstimulated writing today, kind of like this is a terrible example, but bear with me. Like when you have a dog and you bring them in a new environment and they just get like really excited and really spazzy, like that's how I felt. I just had a really hard time concentrating, but I think that has nothing to do with the public library, and I think that has everything to do with me. So, you know, I woke up early, I've traveled, I'm now in a new city. Take it for what it's worth. Anyways, let's start with the pros. Pros are, one, gorgeous. It is a stunning venue. Like, oh my god, I could just have sat there all day if it wasn't for the fact that I am like have other plans tonight, but literally could have sat there forever and just like stared at everything around me. You just don't really see structures like this within the United States. Like very European, you know, you got the crown molding, you have the painted ceilings, you have like beautiful hardwood floors, beautiful hardwood tables. Like that's just not as common in the United States as it is in Europe. So anyways, very, very gorgeous, stunning venue. Two, plenty of seating options, because when you entered there, it was, you could go left, which is where I went, but they had the exact same setup in a whole other separate space. So tons of places that you could sit. 3, it was free because it's a public library. You didn't need a library card or anything. If you checked out a book, you would need a library card, but I didn't. I was just there to write. And then 4, very, very quiet, as you would expect from a library. There is a whole other portion of it that's a museum. That part was louder, but the actual reading room where I was in, which was called the Rose Reading Room, that was very quiet and very conducive to writing. So those are the pros. Let's talk about the cons. First of all, there's no outlets. I have a relatively new computer, so for me, I don't really need like my charger because my battery life is really good, but if you have like a computer that doesn't really hold a good charge, just note there's no chargers. 2, no photography allowed. So I very much had to sneak those shots in that you guys saw, that you're not supposed to take any photography in the reading room. In the museum portion you can, but like in the actual Rose Reading Room, which is the beautiful part of it, they were like, no photography allowed, so I was just kind of like sneaking. So that's kind of annoying because like, I think I'm a big photo person. So like if I'm in these areas, I like want to take photos. So anyways, just something to note. 3, the Wi-Fi was terrible. So I write in Google Docs and I've always used the online version. For the first time ever, I had to work offline, which I've never had to do before. So I'm hoping all those changes got saved. But like if you need to use the internet to research anything, or like I constantly always look up synonyms for words, if I'm being repetitive, like not the best environment for that. Yeah, very, very bad internet. Free internet, but bad. And then last up, it does have limited hours. So if you're like me and you work a 9 to 5, probably isn't the best place, because on some days they're open till 6 and then other days they're open till 8. And like, that's just not ideal depending on your work schedule. If you are someone who works maybe like a night shift, this could really work for you. But yeah, definitely limited hours on when you can go in there. I think Mondays it's open till 6 and every other day is open till 8. So anyways, those are my thoughts about the New York Public Library. Would I go again? Absolutely. It is stunning and gorgeous, and I wish I wasn't so stimulated today because I feel like I definitely could have gotten more work done, but that's okay. I'm now gonna chill for a little bit. And then I'm going to meet up with my friend for dinner. This is an old friend from when I lived in New York. We worked at the same firm and we've just stayed in touch over the years, and we're getting Italian, which I'm really excited about. And she is so sweet. Whenever I reach out to old friends when I come to New York, I'm always willing to travel because like New York, even though everything is very condensed, it can be very hard to get to different places because of traffic. So anyways, I was like, you know, I will totally come to you because she lives in Queens, but she was like, no, it's fine. There's this place that I've been wanting to try in your neighborhood anyway, so it's all worked out and I'm very excited for that. So we'll check back in. Bad since I've been here. I had like the one really nice day, and then yesterday it's been torrential downpouring. Today it has been torrential downpouring. Usually when I come up to New York in May, it's like really hot and humid. It's not the case. It is so cold. Anyways, I wanted to check in really quick and just talk about writing at the Ace Hotel. I actually like really loved it. I did not go into it with great expectations or anything because I don't know, like it just no one's like raved about it, at least to me, but I did hear it was a good spot. So let's go through the pros and cons. First, the pros, great Wi-Fi, like excellent, especially when I was at the New York Public Library and had like no Wi-Fi. It was so fast, it was great, loved it. 2, plenty of outlets so I could plug in my laptop or my phone or whatever, and it wasn't really that big of a deal. I wasn't like worried about anything dying. 3, it is free because it's in the hotel lobby, but you definitely should buy something from the cafe because we don't want to be rude. So I did buy a little latte and that was delicious. I stayed for about an hour when I wrote. I wrote during my lunch break. 4 is that they're pretty open and flexible hours. So it doesn't really matter what time you come. So unlike the public library where they have very strict hours, it's the hotel lobby, so you just kind of come whenever you want, which is really nice and like convenient. And then 5 is, it has a very dark and calming vibe, and I've talked about this on my channel here before, how I like to write at night. I'm a night writer, but I just love being outside during the day, and then there's something just like really cozy and nice about writing at night. And I wrote during the day there, but the vibes were all very dark and very comforting, so it was like perfect for my writing style. The cons, I really don't have that many. I had one is that it is kind of loud. They do have like loud music playing in the background, so if you're going to come, bring like noise canceling headphones, unless that just doesn't bother you. But I like to have a certain playlist playing while I'm writing, and so I was really glad that I had like good headphones while I was there, because they were playing like very like modern music, which is not the vibe of my book. And then 2, which is a con, is like there's lots of chairs, but there's not a lot of tables, and I'm someone who likes to have a table in front of me so I can like type. I'm not really like a couch kind of girl. So tons and tons of like couches and maybe like high tops, which I also don't love a high top. I just want like a standard table, and there was really only one long table. So if that bothers you, that's just something to note as well. But anyways, like I said, I only spent an hour there, but you could definitely camp out there. Like there is just like time just gets away from you in there, and you could just spend a long time in there. So if you need some place to write for a long period of time, this honestly is such a great spot. Anyways, definitely love this one over New York Public Library. Hello everyone, I'm actually now back in the DC area. Things just got really busy at work, which was why I was in New York City. I was there to work, so I didn't have time to visit any more writing spots, but I'm not too upset about it because I do go up to New York at least twice a year for work at a minimum. So I usually go up in May and I go up again in September. So I'm gonna go and visit more spots at that time. But what I kind of thought I would do is talk about some of the spots that I do want to see on my next trip. And like if you're going to be in the New York City area and you're wanting to write, like these are some other additional places that I have researched and that I think would be really cool. So I'm gonna list 3. The first one is the Hoxton in Williamsburg. I really wanted to go to this one, but honestly, it is kind of far. Like I always stay in Manhattan. Getting over to Williamsburg is not that bad, but it's just not as convenient as other locations. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous cafe. It's very day and night friendly. This is also a very, very well-known spot for writers. A lot of writers go there to write, so just something to know. I couldn't tell you about all the outlets and Wi-Fi and things like that since I didn't get a chance to go, but that is another space that is really great for writers. Next up is Housing Works in Soho. This is like a bookstore cafe. Once again, really wanted to go to this one, and this one wasn't that far for me, but like I said, work got super hectic. This one is like the trifecta. You're in a bookstore, so you're surrounded by books, but there's plenty of like writing space and tables, and then there's also a cafe there, so you just have like the trifecta and everything that you could possibly need. And then last one that I just wanted to mention is the Marlton Hotel in Greenwich. This just has like very immaculate vibes. It is another writer known favorite in New York City, and it's another one that I do plan on going to next time I'm back in New York. So those are the 3 spots that I didn't get a chance to go to, but I will go to in the future. And I just wanted to mention this on this video if you are someone who is trying to write in New York City and you're looking for cool writer spots. So I'm kind of thinking about making this into a series. So I visited some spots in this video. I'm actually going to Nashville next week. I'm kind of thinking about doing something similar where I find really cool writing spots. Obviously the vibe is different, right? New York City is more like classic writing versus like Nashville is more songwriting, so it's a little bit different, but I think it could still be really cool. So I'm thinking about kind of doing that again. We'll see. I've already been researching a couple places, and I have found a couple places that I think would be really neat. If you have any more writing spot locations in New York City, please pop them in the comments below. I would love to check out more places, and I'm sure there are plenty more that I haven't even mentioned. I mean, we didn't even touch like restaurants in this video, like, and there's a ton of restaurants that you can definitely write at. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this fun like tour of New York City's writing spots. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe because it really helps support my channel. Also subscribe if you want to write together, because listen, I am writing a book. I'm on draft 4. I know we didn't even touch that in this video, but I am looking for writing friends. So if you want to be one of those, just subscribe and like let me know in the comments so that we can be friends. All right, that's it for this video. I'll talk to you guys in another one. Bye.